We're ending turns. That's all we can do in civilization right now, is end turns. Also, I'm keeping an eye on my money. It's depleting slowly for the sake of science. As the peaceful, quote-unquote, civilization of Rome continues to grow. Oops. Sorry about that. But right now I need more food than I do production. Because in order to make more settlers, I need a larger population. And of course, how you do that? Make babies. Yes, I'm using the make babies joke again. I am terrible. But proud of it. Proud of my wonderful civilization of 2 cities. Keeping an eye on those funds. It's only going down 3 gold at a time. So I can afford to let go down a bit. So I can spread out my kingdom. And learn things. You'd kind of hope I'd learn a little bit faster. But, you know me, I don't learn anything. I'm probably the most bullheaded person in the world. That actually doesn't look like a bull. No promises. I may actually look like a bull. And we can go 1 or 2 more turns before I have to change my taxes. One more turn. Alright, I gotta change these taxes. And make money. Let's see if I can make a little money back. I've almost discovered something. $40 points out of 70 points. Oh yeah, that's what that third attribute was. Science. Income, cost. My government is deposition. I call it dictatorship anyways. Also, always remember to save your game. I said remember to save your game. Thank you. So, how's the world looking? Hey, this is actually a pretty big continent if you think about it. Pardon me. So I have a good room to grow. Alrighty. And continue our wonderful ending of turns before it starts to get interesting. Egypt has been destroyed by Britain. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Seems like Britain's making the moves here. Egypt has been destroyed by Britain. Seriously, they're not supposed to do that until the 1800s. Britain getting that. Well, them African civilizations pretty early there. Oh dear. Also, my funds are still depleting. This is not good. As much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna have to take off science so I can get more taxes in. Because people don't want to work for free, unfortunately. Honestly, I don't need those barracks. I mean, I could sell them if I really wanted to. Actually, I am. Because I need the money right now. And it's less upkeep. I don't have to spend an additional gold to upkeep it. Okay, my income is neutralized now. And settlers in about 8 or 9 turns on both cities. So we'll have to skip another 8 or 9 turns until I discover something. I know, it was so interesting in the beginning when I wiped out Germany. But now I got a pretty large continent all to myself. And nobody has sailed over to visit. Let's hope they don't sail over to visit for a while. Because that would mean they were way more advanced than I am. Oh, God. Double D is at it again. Well, you do have to fight people on Double Dragon, which is what the city is named for. But I don't have Billy and Jimmy. That's the problem. So for now, time to make an Elvis. I see the population went up to 6. Obviously, they're mad at me telling them to make babies. I know, that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. And I better build a temple over here before people go crazy. And that means the city of Double D can go back to producing stuff. And I can move this unit to make a new city. Or I could also do this. I could have them build roads. Which, honestly, you should probably hold off for a while. Until I have a larger civilization. And more than 2 towns to travel in between. But by building roads to other towns, you can also create trade routes that will end up making more money for you. And more production symbols as well. There we go, we finally formed a settler. That means I can get rid of the Elvis. Because Double D is apparently set on having 5 people. At least until we build a Colosseum Misty. So I'll be back in a minute. Or 3 here. Back to civilization. Or at least that's what I think we're going back to. And I'm going to move this unit of settlers back where Berlin was. You know, Berlin with the Germany civilization that no longer exists. Cough, cough. Yeah, I noticed you had quite a few civilizations in about the 2.5 hours you played there. Yeah, I was real lucky and got 2 Legionnaire units. Mercenaries right off the bat. Yeah, I'm way behind on my city building. And make sure I move them far away enough. This is a pretty decent spot to build it. Well, I'd rather have it on the ocean side. Oh, by the way, what is that spot? Swamp. Swamp won't be a bad place to put a city. Rivers are pretty good usually. The problem is if the populace grows too big, like it did in Double Dragon, Double D, they become uncontent pretty quickly, unless you have a whole bunch of improvements. Alrighty, it's time to name another one of my cities. Let's name it Gladiator, after American Gladiators. I believe my 6th video I've ever made on YouTube. American Gladiators. That's a combination Let's Play review, and actually, I think it's one of my better ones today, even for how early it was. I also took a heck of a lot of work. 4-parter. So here goes the city of Gladiator, where we shall build some gladiators if needed. But until then, we're just a little hut. And with any town, I like to start with granaries first, so they can increase that population real quick. Let's see, my income is steady, so we shall continue. Fortyville is kicking ass in big civilization. Meanwhile, I finally discovered mysticism. So now I can build the legendary oracle, which I believe makes a temple in every town until such an event happens. I think it's time to get my people some education and teach them about the alphabet. The problem is with the wonders, they just take so many turns. Yeah, that's why I usually try to build a whole bunch of small cities rather than a few large ones. Hello there, 40. Resources are alcohol in 40 land. And I shall make another city here. Hello there, Rue. Let's see, another one of my videos. My first Nets play, where I did it over, was it Skype or another thing? I did a Nets play with one of my friends. And I haven't talked with her for years, unfortunately. But we did the Family Feud, which we'll abbreviate to the F Feud. Do not confuse the F with something else, please. And hopefully the F Feud won't have too many internal feuds. Is that how you spell feud? My mind is blank today. That's more like fueled. This is embarrassing. I should not have to look at how to spell something that simple. I am not drunk, I swear. But after this election, people are probably going to be drunk. But we can't stay out of politics because we are a civilization. Yes, Missy, I know. Hey there, Boris. We should play the Family Feud, but not right now. So now we have 4 wonderful cities. Are they still building settlers? That's actually fine for them. Let's see, in my capital city. Still building settlers, I bet. Oh no, they're building the temple. That's right. So, 40. I'm sure you're keeping up with it. What presidential candidate is in the lead at the moment? Because that's all that is important, apparently. The presidential candidate. And not the governors, senators, or anybody else. Until you realize your president and all the senators and House of Representatives are of the opposite party. And therefore nothing gets done. Don't blame me, 40. He's staying away from that. Can't blame him one bit. Oh my. The Aztecs have been destroyed by Britain. Britain is on a roll. And I'm a little scared now. Britain may have a pretty powerful military. They might be pretty large now. Rue has some good news and bad news about this game. I know it's not perfect, it's the first civilization. Also, voting for dictators? Are you silly? Yes, you are. That's pretty much what we are. Rue has also joined in the civilization hunt. Well, it's a good thing I know what I'm doing, sort of. It just takes forever to start up in the beginning. So the first few hours that you're going to play, you're basically going to be doing this, skipping turns. Write-in candidates. Some people say it's wasting your vote, others say it's a clear conscience. I can't argue either way. Yeah, you don't have to make a video immediately, Rue. You can just practice for a little bit. And then start over and make one with a better one if needed. Also, if you really want to get technical, the world is always at war. We just pretend to be at peace sometimes. Well, basically all you have to do when you start out is expand as far as you can and wipe out any competing civilizations on your continent until you get seafaring. Which usually doesn't happen till around 500 BC. You can maybe push it at 1,000, but also, since my money's up, I'm going to reinvent into science. See if I can speed that up a little bit. In Big's civilization, the Romans are harassing him. It's too bad I'm not the Romans. Big's also got England and Germany. And American. Big is actually the American civilization. And he's fighting the Indians as well. Well, watch out by the gun that he has made. Yeah, I pretty much like Boris's strategy of doing science first if possible. But like I said, 7 civilizations out of a possible, 14 in this one? And Rue is also American, because he's proud to be American. Izzy is Japan. Japan is in other civilizations as well. But we gotta make America great. Now, I don't know if it applies to the original Civilization, but in Civilization 2, defense is heavily favored, even though the numbers might tell you otherwise. And the grain is still a little bit expensive. How about a gladiator? And I'm going to go ahead and complete that so they can grow faster. And it's just a matter of sciences and a little bit of expanding here. I might build settlers in Paperboy so I can start making roads and such. I'd probably build a city right there. That's 2 squares. And a city here. And probably one more down here, yes. So yeah, I'm looking about at 6 or 7 cities right now on this continent. I'm watching my money carefully so I don't sell anything out. And a marketplace so I can make a little money this time. So in 1660 BC, the Roman Empire was slowly expanding within its own little happy place. So are we done with these settlers yet? Okay, let's see, how much money do I have? And yeah, I'm going to speed them up a little bit. Because the last thing we need is angry people. Don't need angry people. Everybody should remain happy. Or at least content. If they're too happy, they may be stealing. The only way to be truly happy is steal. Just don't tell anybody that. Like I did steal from the Germans. I'll let them keep making settlers. And keep their population reasonable. You notice it's pausing a little bit between turns. That probably means other civilizations are doing stuff. But I have that turned off at the moment, as far as actually viewing them. Forrest recommends not playing Oregon Trail while playing Civilization, because I don't want to die in dysentery. That is a smart idea. Oh no, pirates! It'd be a little dangerous to build a town over there right now, though. That kind of hinders my plan. Let me see here. I may have to go military on this. Also, I can get more information. So I'm going to change it to a chariot. and deal with those pirates if they decide to come close. Let's hope for everybody's sake they don't. And since I'm a little bit nervous right now, I'm gonna keep this settler back and build some roads. Dying by a speed bump. That would be a horrible thing to happen. And yes, I'm gonna set this chariot on fire. I'm still watching that bad guy real carefully. See what he's going to do. He doesn't always go her down, because he also has a fog of war. And now I have the alphabet. And now I can do all this stuff. Alright, let's start walls so people quit rioting. Because seriously, quit rioting. I could build alphabet soup. That sounds delicious, actually. Wait a minute, do they have a diplomat there? I can't tell what units they have on there. It looks like a phalanx and a diplomat. Who ever heard of a pirate diplomat, Big? They're moving a little bit too close for my liking. Let's see if I can speed this production up. I'll have to change it to phalanx. I was hoping to go on the offensive against them, but looks like I'm going to have to play the defensive role. While a barbarian or any other enemy is in your city limits, you can't use that square for production. And people tend to get panicked. The biggest thing that is a bandit chief. That makes sense, actually. That diplomatic-looking thing. Bandit chiefs are real weak, but they're usually surrounded by their tougher friends. It could be Conan the Barbarian. So we'll defend Gladiator for right now. And see what the bandits do this turn. They will probably attack the city. And now their chief is running away like the little troublemaker he is. And that made the Phalanx a veteran unit. So let's see if I can get him out of that town. And have him lay the smackdown upon that, Yeah, Big, how do you, get, units out of towns? If you could help me with that. Ah, there he is, never mind. And if I corner this guy, I can get a lot of money. But after a few turns, he tends to disappear. I've never seen a bandit chief actually make an offensive move. He usually just hangs around his other stronger units. And possibly give them a bonus? Oops, I lost track of him. So I'll just move my Phalanx back and start a new city over here. Should be named after one of my videos. I tried to go in chronological order of the series I have started. Let's start with my one long Let's Play, which I called a review. The Final Fantasy Red Mage Soul Challenge review thing. Because I didn't want to call it a Let's Play at the time. Because I thought Let's Plays were the most horrible thing on Earth. Because of Retro. Without knowing that the guy from Rescue at the time actually made the first Let's Plays. The first video versions, at least. And theirs weren't exactly the best quality either. But they were pretty good at it at the time. But opinions aside, the population of Rome is at 400,000. Also checking my money. Let's see. I need some information. I used to be first in a whole bunch of things. I guess it got worse over time. This is probably not the highlight of the Roman Empire. Also, the Phalanx will probably keep order in the town. Do I want to start a revelation? That would be awesome. I don't know if I can start a revolution. I'm going to save before I do that. Just in case this screws up. I will rebel against myself. Sure, why not? And start a new government. This will send my cities into chaos for a couple of turns. That lets me switch to another government, which is usually better. Yay, granaries. It's not to be confused with the Dance Dance Revolution, though. Possibly an nanofoam farm, yes. Checking out how my cities are doing. And we'll end a couple turns here. And see if our revolution will bring us anything new. As the population continues to grow here. Apparently I can still only be a dictator. It's changed from deposition to deposition. Not being a dictator. So that was a waste of a few turns. But I'm not going to change anything. So since I saved previously, I wonder if I can go back to that. I'll see what happens when I retire. See, that's what happens when you retire. And I get a rating of Dan Quayle for 1%. That's what happens if you end your game early. But I saved my game. And fortunately I can continue from where I last saved. Unfortunately I only have one save file in the Super NES version.